They tell me I'm small, but I've learned small faith moves mountains. This platform might look quiet right now, but purpose doesn't need permission. Sometimes the smallest voices are trusted with the biggest stories. I don't got it all, that's why I pray. I lift the names when I can't find words to say. Small but mighty, walking by faith. If I can't change it all, I still believe change can start today. I don't got it all, that's why I pray. For the lost, the missing, led astray. This platform's small, but God's not contained. And we never ever know what love can do once it's shared. I'm not rich in numbers, not loud on the screen, but every case I cover got weight in between. Faces on flyers, names people forget. I speak them out loud so they're never silenced yet. I don't chase clout, I chase truth. Every live stream feels like a prayer in the booth. For the mom still waiting, the dad still searching, for the families hurting while the world keeps turning. They say, what can one voice redo? But I've seen hope rise when a community moves. So I show up steady, even when it's heavy, trusting God with the parts I can't carry. Got it all, that's why I pray. I lift the names when I can't find words to say. Small but mighty, walking by faith. If I can't change it all, I still believe change can start today. I don't got it all, that's why I pray. For the lost, the missing, led astray. This platform's small, but God's not contained. And we never know what love can do once it's shared. Every time I go live, I ask one thing: send prayers up higher than algorithms, because awareness is good, but faith goes further, and prayer reaches places we never could. I don't promise answers, I promise care. A space where compassion still lives right here. Victim-focused, truth-driven, heart-led, always standing in the gap on the hardest days. If you're watching this tide, scared or alone, I hope you feel seen through the screen in your home, because God hears whispers, not just the loud, and He's working right now, even in the crowd. So we pray for the missing. Every single time we pray for the answers in God's perfect time. Small seeds planted, faith multiplied. Miracles don't need a spotlight. I don't got it all, that's why I pray. Still believing God's moving, even today. Small but mighty, called by name. And I trust what He's doing even when I can't see the way. This is Mo and Cole. Say a prayer for the missing. Say a prayer for their families. And before you go, say your prayers. Take your vitamins. And remember, even something small can do really big things.
Hey guys, how are we today? I'm so glad to see you all. I, it's been exactly a week since I've seen you all last. Have you guys been following Miss Nancy's case? I've been following it, but I don't feel like I could help in any way, because so many other people are sharing awareness for her. But I've been praying for her. She reminds me of my mama in a lot of ways. Miss Nancy is a few years older than my mama, but they seem like they have a lot in common. So I have been following and keeping up with her case. It just breaks my heart, you guys. It really, really does. Today I when I got everything ready for the case that we're going to talk about today, they were still missing. 2 people had been arrested for their murders, but they were still missing. But they were found yesterday, I believe. But I still wanted to share with them, you guys. Today, first, I want to talk to you guys about this little fella that I was showing while my intro was going on. And he's been missing for 2 weeks now from New Jersey. And he's an autistic little fella. And so I just wanted to get the information out about him first here. And I also shared about him on my community tab. So like I always say, you guys, if you can screenshot that information and share it any way you want to, and you don't have to share my channel. And so his photos, I put all the photos that I could find on there. And his mama, hey Wolfie, how are you? Good to see you. And Heather Licious, good to see you. And Van. And there's Aaron. Good to see all you guys. Good to see all you guys. Hey, Tony, good afternoon. How are you? We've been snowed in and iced in, you guys, and I think we're still expecting more snow. And my mama is really upset at Puxatawny Phil. Really bad upset. Oh, I'd hate to be him if she got a hold of him right now. Okay, so it says, please be advised that we are still actively searching for Connor Oldfield, a missing autistic adult, and he is 19, but he is verbal. And are requesting continued awareness and assistance. Connor Oldfield was reported missing on January 24th, 2026, and has not yet been located. I'm going to share with you guys an interview that his mama did. I don't think she says it there, but in an article I read, she said that he spent time by himself all the time, while she was working. Not all the time, but it wasn't out of the ordinary for him to spend time at home. And then about 10 something that morning, he just ran out of the house in his pajamas. And I showed you guys that photo in the beginning. Let me show you again. This was taken about 1:30 in his neighborhood, and so that's exactly what he was wearing. So he ran out of his house about 10 something, and then he was seen in the neighborhood about 1 something. So he is a black male, 19 years old, approximately 5 feet, 8 inches tall, 165 pounds, short black hair, brown eyes, and he has a scar on his forehead. And it says Connor is autistic. He is verbal and able to communicate. However, he may be nervous or anxious if approached. Please use calm, clear, and reassuring communication. And he was last seen wearing yellow, black, and gray camouflage fleece pajamas and a gray zip-up jacket. And his last known location was Watson Avenue in Plainfield, New Jersey at approximately 1:30 p.m. And I wanted to show you guys this this interview that his mama did.
Tonight, the search continues for a missing 19-year-old with autism. Addie Guajardo spoke with his grieving mother, who shared video of the last time her son was seen nearly 2 weeks ago.
Missing posters across downtown Plainfield and outside this barber shop are a cry for help from Stephanie Sr.
My son grew up here in the shop.
A mother desperate to find her 19-year-old son, Connor Oldfield, who has autism.
I put on a brave front, but inside I'm dying. I've died so many times and come back.
Oldfield's mom says he was last seen leaving their home near Watson Avenue and George Street on January 24th, just after 1 p.m. She says he was caught in at least 2 of her neighbor's cameras.
And he came one direction, then he ran back the other direction.
Oldfield is seen running up the street and then goes out of view. Another camera in the neighborhood appears to capture.
Oh man, he seemed very upset, you guys, and confused to be going one way and then abruptly turn around and go the other way. Bless his heart.
Oldfield sprinting down the sidewalk. Senior says he was last seen wearing a dark gray Reebok jacket with vibrant yellow, gray, and black pajama pants.
He left his ID. He left money on his table, like cash money. That's right there. It's not a plan. He didn't pack a bag. All his personal belongings are still home.
Family and friends say they've been spreading the word on social media and handing out flyers in hopes of a lead. Senior says she fears her son may have been picked up by ICE agents since he left the house without his ID.
ICE was heavy out here that particular day. And
that is something else that's going on in this area, and it's going on in a lot of places. And I don't want to get into the political side of it, but they did say that they have checked the databases and he's not in there. But also, someone did say that it could take a while for him to be shown on the databases. And if he's not telling them his name or anything, then, you know, what would show up there? So his mama is concerned about that.
Days following and days before.
We reached out to ICE. They provided a vague response saying, quote, "I will share this information." The Plainfield Police Department urged the public to help find Oldfield in late January, but did not respond to our emails and questions on Wednesday. Senior says she just wants her son home.
I'm begging you, say something. If you don't want to call the cops, call the news station, call somebody. Just direct him home, direct him to somewhere where he can be safe. Because let him go. He needs to come home. He have a whole family that loves him.
In Plainfield, New Jersey, Roberto, CBS News, New York.
And his dad did a short interview too. And then he's got a sister that I've seen in a lot of his photos too. And so he has a big family that wants him home. So if you guys could share his information on my community tab and also pray for him, you guys, please, please. About is I have been following this case since it happened, and there wasn't a whole lot out about it first, and it actually started back in January. So let me show you guys. This is Hannah Neville and her boyfriend, well, her husband. I'm not sure exactly when they got married, but she does have a marriage certificate on her TikTok. And so they are married, and he was 26 years old, and well, she was 26 and he was 27. And when I see the years they were born, you guys, it makes me feel so old. And they have, from what I can tell, they've been together at least a year. And they were living in this place called Stromsburg, Nebraska. And that's him, and he went by Robbie. And you guys, she announced this on her Facebook back in July of 2025. So they were expecting a baby. She was 32 weeks pregnant when she was last seen on January the 15th. And they were living together in Stromsburg, and they got into a disagreement, and he packed his stuff and went to his half brother's house. And so she went after him. It was on the 13th when they had their argument and he left. And then on the 15th is when she left to go pick him up in Lincoln, Nebraska. And so everything was fine. Nobody, nothing was going on. There was a few things on her TikTok that I wanted to show you guys. This was she was sharing about her baby, the last 3 photos. You know how they give you prompts like that. And so she was showing her ultrasound pics. Bless her. This was in November. And then she showed a picture of her and him. But I turned the man y'all wanted into my husband. And March 10th, she says, we'll be given, let's see. I think she said a family. And March 10th, she had a scheduled C-section planned. And her last TikTok was on the 15th, so the day that she went to pick him up. Let's see here. I believe it was, see, there is her marriage certificate that they're showing. So sad, you guys. And I believe this was the 15th. Yep, 115. And let me see here. And then I think he shared some about them on his TikTok too. Let me see. Because you guys know that I like to tell you about the victims as much as I can, and I couldn't really find a whole lot. She does have, I believe it's her roommate, but I'm not sure. It was somebody that she went to high school with, and she does an interview that I'm going to show you guys, and she said that Hannah was a wild spirit, you know. And so let's see here. This one is cute. It says, baby, I love doing life with you. You're everything I want to come home to. Give you all my heart. The moon and the stars till my time here on earth is through. Because I just love doing life with you. How sad is that? Well, they did. They were together till the very end. And so nobody knew that anything was wrong. And they didn't even know. The next thing that happens is that a car is found burned. Hannah's car is found burned on the day after that she went to go pick him up in Nebraska. And hey, Adrian, good to see you. How are you, buddy? So good to see you. Her car is found burned in Lincoln. See here on the right. And we learn that that police did try to contact her, and the number that they had was out of service, but her phone is actually found in her burned out SUV too. And so let me show you guys that video right fast. And so she still wasn't reported missing for 2 more weeks.
A blaze in northeast Lincoln overnight, prompting an emergency response. This was the scene at 39th and Cornhusker this morning. The fire was called in around 12:30 a.m. You could see the SUV over there in this video eventually was seemingly parked in the middle of a cul-de-sac in the area, and much of the roof had been burned through and charred. There it is. Authorities on scene say they're still investigating how the fire sparked. Once we know more, we'll be sure to keep you updated.
So that was on the 16th. And still until the 28th is when her mama calls her friend that she went to high school with, and they figure out that they haven't seen Hannah, you know, in 2 weeks. And so that's when her friend reports her missing, is on the 28th. And the next day is when they changed it to an endangered missing alert. And it's because also her medical providers, she hadn't been coming to her appointments. Hey Carl, how are you? Good to see you. She hadn't been coming to her appointments. And in this next video that we're going to watch, the detective, she says that she was so happy that she'd been going to community resources, and we can see that both of them were happy about this new baby that was coming into their lives, you know. And so it was really weird that they couldn't find her. And they did say at this time that Roberto, that he was a person of interest because he was the last one to see her, they thought, and he couldn't be found either. So after her endangered missing alert, so this is from Nebraska State Patrol. It says the Polk County Sheriff's Department is attempting to locate Hannah Lane Neville, 26, white female, approximately 5 feet 2 inches tall, approximately 180 pounds, with brown hair and green eyes. Neville went missing on January 15th from the Stromsburg area. Neville was last seen with a light blue Nike backpack. She was last known to be with Roberto Tanner. Neville is pregnant and has missed vital medical appointments. If you have any information, please call 911. So that is when the endangered missing alert went out on the 28th. So on the 29th is when a missing alert also goes out for Roberto because he can't be found either. Let's see. The last known whereabouts of both was in Lincoln on January 15, 2026. A vehicle owned by Neville was found engulfed in flames in Lincoln on January 16th near 39th and Cornhusker Highway. The cause of that fire is under investigation. And then it tells her stats and she was pregnant, and then it tells his stats and who to call. And so they lived in Stromsburg, so that is the Polk County Sheriff's. So then when they put two and two together that was her vehicle that was found in Lincoln, then the Lincoln police take over as lead in the investigations. So that was on the 30th, Friday the 30th. And just a few days later, 2 people were taken into custody for their murder. So let me tell you about them. So when Roberto got angry with Hannah, he went to stay with his half-brother. And I'll tell you about them too. This is Sadie James. Well, she goes by Sadie James here, but her real name is Sadie Titus. And Roberto's half-brother is, let me see what his age is. His name is Sterling James. And I keep wanting to forget his name because it's like 2 last names. You know? Let me see here. I think they were 20. Yep, he was 24 and she was 22. And they just got married on January 2nd. So about 2 weeks before everything happened, right? And this is them right here. And I see this little girl in pictures, and I'm not sure if she's both of theirs or who she is. But I do know that they messed everything up in their lives. Newlyweds have their whole life ahead of them and had this baby. They ruined her life, and they ruined, they took away, and that's him, Sterling James. They took away the chance of Hannah and Roberto's baby of having any life at all, so they've ruined two babies. And so, hey, hippie chick, good to see you. I hope you had a good day yesterday on your day out. So then after this, the next thing that we see is this. And so they arrest those two on February the 1st. And then they, it says, LPD would like to thank the community for sharing about a recent missing persons case on social media. Tips called into law enforcement helped investigators piece together what happened. Oh, so that's good. That I didn't catch that before. So tips really do help you guys, and they're still looking for tips on this case. And I have the resource numbers and the ticker across the bottom of my screen and also in the description. We are heartbroken to share Hannah Neville, Roberto Tanner, and their unborn child are believed to be deceased. Our deepest condolences go out to their loved ones who are processing this tragic loss. As of this post, we are still working to locate their bodies. LPD has made 2 arrests in their deaths, Sterling James and Sadie Titus, a husband and wife from Lincoln, for first-degree murder and aiding and abetting, respectfully. And then they do this press conference and tell us a little bit more about it, so we'll listen to that.
A husband and wife from Lincoln. James is in the Lancaster County Jail on 2 counts of murder in the first degree. Titus is being held on 2 counts of aiding and abetting first-degree murder. The Polk County Sheriff's Office alerted LPD on Wednesday evening, January 28th, about the missing persons report filed regarding Hannah, who is from Stromsburg, Nebraska. A missing persons report regarding Roberto was filed Thursday here in Lincoln. We solicited
So guys, even though that they both were missing from the 15th until the 28th, which was a long time, they actually started as soon as Lincoln PD, as soon as they got a hold of this case. It was only 4 days before they made arrests. We don't see that a lot. That is great.
information from the public on Friday when LPD became the lead investigating agency, and our investigators worked tirelessly throughout the weekend in cooperation with Polk County to piece together what we believe happened. Hannah's roommate had reported her missing in Polk County after not seeing her since January 15th, when Hannah left Stromberg to pick up her husband in Lincoln. Location data and witness statements place Hannah and Roberto at James and Titus's apartment at 1215 Arapahoe in Lincoln just before 7 p.m. on January 15th. Cell phone data shows Hannah's device leaving at 8 p.m., arriving at 7600 Northwest 27th Street in Lancaster County, and remaining at that location until around 1:30 a.m. It traveled to multiple other locations before going offline.
It also traveled to the landfill, you guys. And thankfully, well, it's still awful. I don't want to say thankfully, but their bodies weren't in the landfill. They were located somewhere else. So I wonder what kind of evidence they got rid of at the landfill.
In the afternoon of January 16th. Earlier that same morning, just after 12:30 a.m., LPD also responded to a vehicle fire in the area of 39th and Cornhusker Highway. It was determined to be Hannah's SUV. The cause of the fire was left under investigation by the LFR fire inspector. Officers called Hannah that morning to advise her of the fire, but her phone number was no longer in service. We now believe that was because she was likely already deceased at the time. LPD was not aware of her disappearance at the time of this unfortunate discovery. On Sunday, being yesterday, LPD served a search warrant at the Northwest 27th Street address, where a number of people were detained and interviewed. Investigators learned James admitted to shooting Hannah and Roberto, and it occurred sometime in the late hours of January 15th or early hours on January 16th.
Okay, Carl. I hope you have a good day. Thank you for coming by. Be careful. And at this time, we didn't know the motive, but since those two were in court yesterday, we've learned a little bit more about the motive, and I'll tell you guys that here in a few.
We believe he then buried their bodies and set fire to Hannah's vehicle. Titus is believed to have helped James after they were killed. LPD is still working to locate the deceased as this investigation continues. On Sunday evening, James and Titus were both taken into custody at their residence here in Lincoln. The investigation is very much active and ongoing, including determining a motive. We also encourage anyone who may have additional information.
I'm not sure what was going on with their audio. That was their audio, not mine, I don't think. I've got to get it pulled back up here. Everything left. Here we go. I got it. I'm going to show you guys all these controls that I've got back here one day and everything that I have to press. Oh, okay. So let me see here. Oh, I forgot to show you guys the video of Hannah's friend and what she had to say about her. So I think I'd like to show you guys that.
Agencies across Nebraska are continuing their search of a missing pregnant woman from Stromberg. 26-year-old Hannah Neville was last seen nearly 2 weeks ago on her way to Lincoln to see her boyfriend. 1011's Brandon Muting spoke with the investigator on the case and one of her friends. He joins us from 39th and Cornhusker with the latest.
This is before the press conference that I just showed you guys, I think. So before that they were believed to have been deceased. So I'm sorry to get this out of the timeline here.
Nathan, this is where law enforcement found Hannah Neville's car engulfed in flames, adding another layer to her disappearance. She's been missing for 2 weeks. Her friends and family are now searching in hopes to bring her home. Jessica Alexander and Hannah Neville have been friends for more than a decade.
Definitely a free spirit. So a wild child a little bit.
But a message from Hannah's mom on Thursday caught Jessica.
And I'm not sure if she's the one that reported her missing, you guys, and who is her roommate, but I do believe so from what I can gather.
Jessica off guard.
And it becomes a bit more concerning because I know for a fact at this point, if she was somewhere safe, she would let somebody know that she's okay.
Her longtime high school friend reported missing, with nobody seeing or hearing from her in 2 weeks.
Did get a chance to go to her home, and it was pretty much just normal things. You know, her normal stuff, hygiene products and clothing are still there at her home as if she was planning to come back.
Investigators say Hannah's boyfriend, Roberto Tanner, left their home in Stromsburg for Lincoln on January 13th after an argument. Hannah would follow 2 days later on January 15th, the last.
That argument is what, you know, it didn't, that's not the reasoning for this, but that's when everything started. And when Hannah was reported missing at first, I did feel that, the number one cause, I believe, side, and usually when that happens, it's from their significant other. And so when he couldn't be found and the police said that he was their person of interest, I did, my suspicions were really high on him. And I was telling Neat that I feel bad now because they both were found deceased and their baby, you guys. It was a little girl. And like I said, she had a C-section scheduled for March the 10th, so not very far away at all. So I do feel bad about that, but I wouldn't have come live and told you guys he absolutely had something to do with it. You have to wait for things to come out.
Time she was seen.
He is a person of interest right now because that's who she was going to go meet, and because of their relationship, obviously we want to speak to him and see what he knows.
The Polk County Sheriff's Department says they haven't heard from the couple at all, leaving Hannah's friends and family with more questions than answers.
So it's really scary. I've hardly been able to sleep last night because all I can think about is her and her daughter.
Oh.
So.
Bless her.
Even though the
Bless her
situation
heart.
gets scarier by the day, they're holding on to hope that someone will step up and do the right thing.
I do feel like there is somebody out there that knows something. I mean, I feel it very strongly in my gut. Somebody knows something. Somebody knows where she's at. And if you or anybody you know knows where she's at, please come forward.
More information about Hannah
And her name is Jessica, you guys, who was just in that interview, Jessica Alexander. Let me see here. And this is from her mama, and she said, "We were informed yesterday that law enforcement believes Hannah was murdered. Her body has not yet been found, and the search and investigation are still ongoing. So please keep sharing. Please keep calling in your tips. 2 people are currently in custody. Our hearts are shattered. The pain, anger, and grief we are experiencing are unimaginable. Hannah and her unborn child deserved protection, love, and safety, and we are trusting law enforcement to uncover the full truth and hold those responsible accountable. We are deeply grateful to investigators, law enforcement, the media, and everyone who has stood with us through this nightmare. We will continue fighting for Hannah and her baby girl." And this is from who we just saw in that interview. And she said, "I'll love you forever, Hannah. At this time, please say a prayer for both families and respect their privacy. They took my best friend from me, but they also took someone's daughter, granddaughter, and sister. Thank you, everyone, for all you have done in trying to help locate Hannah." And on this post, I saw where someone said that Hannah had rescued a dog and that out of a really bad situation, and that she had rehomed the dog with this lady in the comments. And that just hit my heart because I know how we all love animals. Every single one of us are big animal people. And so that touched my heart that Hannah took the step to get that dog out of a bad situation and make sure it went into a good situation, you know. And there was also another girl on this post, and she said that she used to have a camera pointed at Sadie's apartment because she thought she was doing really bad things, and so she used to have a camera pointed there. So I don't know if she still did or not, but that would have helped a whole lot. And this is Sadie Titus, and she was first arrested for aiding and abetting murder, first degree. And I was trying, but now it says that the charges since court yesterday are something different. But they're not changed on the court website yet. I looked. Let me see here if I can see the new charges. They might be the same, but they were worded different. He got no bond yesterday. He ended up being charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, 1 count of first-degree murder of an unborn child, and tampering with physical evidence. And he got no bond. And she is charged with 3 counts of being an accessory to a felony and 1 count of tampering with physical evidence. So it's not aiding and abetting anymore. And so I tried to look at the differences, and right here it says, so aiding and abetting, she can actually be charged liable as a principal. So she can be charged, get the same exact sentences as somebody charged with first degree murder, is the way that I took it. And while accessory after the fact, it's different. And let's see here. Aiding and abetting, I don't think it's as bad. And so we'll have to wait and see exactly what comes out. But I did see that he could actually face the death penalty too. And so here he is. That I'm not for sure if they had the same mother or the same father, him and Roberto, but they are half brothers is what they're saying, which to me, I don't ever call people half siblings. Maybe that's the technical word, but I think if you share either one, then you're siblings, you know. I just don't like to use the word half. And so after that, you guys, it is now there is another press conference, and let me find that. I think that it's here. Let's watch this.
Search for a Nebraska married couple continues now as a homicide investigation.
26-year-old Hannah Neville was 32 weeks pregnant and missing for 2.5 weeks. Today, the Lincoln Police Department said they believe both Neville and her husband, 27-year-old Roberto Tanner, are dead.
Officials accuse Tanner's half-brother of shooting and killing the couple. KETV News Watch 7's Aaron Hegarty was in Lincoln for the update.
Even though Lincoln police have made 2 arrests, they say the investigation is far from over. The search for the bodies is ongoing.
Lincoln police arrested 24-year-old Sterling James and 22-year-old Sadie Titus on Sunday. James is held on 2 counts of first-degree murder. Titus on 2 counts of aiding and abetting. The victims, an expecting couple, James's half-brother and sister-in-law, 27-year-old Roberto Tanner and 26-year-old.
We're going to find out, you guys, that it was because while Roberto was at Sterling's apartment because he had that fight with Hannah, right? Well, Sterling said that him and Sadie had their kids out to dinner, and while they were out, they got a text that said that Roberto was sending sexual messages to Sterling's mother. And so that's what got him all upset. And that's what the motive is that they're saying so far, which we don't know what the messages said or anything like that. I'm just telling you guys what they're reporting now on the affidavit that they learned more at court yesterday. I haven't been able to find the affidavit for myself, though, yet.
Hannah Neville. Neville was 32 weeks pregnant.
The motive is going to be a big part of the investigation yet. We don't have a specific reason why.
Police say Neville traveled to Lincoln from her home in Stromsburg on January 15th to pick up her husband, Tanner. Investigators used phone location data to place the couple at an apartment belonging to Titus in Lincoln near 10th and Arapahoe Streets on the evening of January 15th. At about 12:30 in the morning on January 16th, Neville's car went up in flames near 39th and Cornhusker. But police say Neville's phone was at a third location at the time, this home on Northwest 27th Street, until 1:30 in the morning.
So they lived at that apartment, Sadie and Sterling did. So wonder who lived at this house. They also said that they went to this residence and did interviews. And we're also going to see that one of the witnesses said that she actually saw a deceased woman, which I'm thinking is Hannah, so they actually saw that. And he actually confessed to somebody at one of these residences where they did the interview that he had shot Roberto when he was running down a back road, and he shot Hannah in the car. Trigger warning, you guys. I'm sorry about that.
Sometime in the evening on the 15th or early on the 16th is when police say James shot the couple.
We believe he then buried their bodies and set fire to Hannah's vehicle.
Sunday, police served a search warrant to the home on Northwest 27th.
Several people live there. We're trying to determine their level of relationship with the people there.
Here, they say they learned that James confessed to the killings. Records show James is on parole. He was found guilty of 3 felonies in May 2024, possessing meth with intent to distribute, possession of a deadly weapon, and attempted burglary. On July 31st last year, he was released on parole.
The Lincoln Police Department says you can reach out with tips to them at 402-441-6.
Yeah, so he had just gotten out of prison 8 months ago? Oh my goodness. Let me find you guys. We'll watch the next press conference now.
Thanks for joining us for this breaking news update this afternoon. I'm Julie Cornell.
I'm Bill Shammer. Right now, Lincoln police are giving an update in the search for a missing Stromsburg couple, Hannah Neville and Roberto Tanner. Investigators are live right now in Malmo. Let's take you there.
From individuals in the community, as well as some tips from people online. But we are searching an area just north of Malmo, about 4 miles, some tree lines and some fields for farming out there. Right now, it's just an area of interest that we're looking at. We have numerous people walking through there, members of the Lincoln Police Department. In fact, our academy's out there walking too with us to help us out. But this is all part of the ongoing investigation into the missing persons for Hannah and Roberto.
What specifically kind of drew you out here? Is there a specific piece of evidence that kind of connected you here?
We're just analyzing a lot of digital evidence, as well as a lot of people providing tips since the news briefing, and then individuals are just coming forward providing statements to us. So we have a lot of different areas and different areas of interest other than just here. This is just the first one that we started with. Well, I mean, they're all over. Lancaster County is one of them. We've obviously already been there for the 7600 Northwest 27th Street address where we served a search warrant at. So there's just various locations throughout. This is the only one in Saunders County that we have.
So I think they said it's about 4 miles away from that house that we just saw.
On our list.
How many different areas have you searched so far?
Specifically, I couldn't tell you as far as areas like parcels or ownership. I mean, the one that we're searching today has 4 or 5 different owners as far as farm ground, whether it be residential or whatnot. So.
But how many different
you said you've already searched an area in Lancaster County. Was that the first area that you guys searched, and this is the second?
Oh no, we've been searching since they've been missing. We have numerous places that we've been searching. I'll be honest with you, it's I don't have the number off the top of my head, but we're in the double digits. I mean, we continue to search areas anytime someone provides a tip, or we have a digital evidence or forensic evidence that leads us into another direction. We're going to go there. And we're going to make sure that we do our due diligence in that location. We might be here for a couple days just because it's a very large area, and once you get out there and see it, you'll understand how big it is.
My photographer and I went to that search area here in Saunders County, and we saw that there was a taped off area by the tree line. What would that indicate?
So I have a couple crime scene techs out here just kind of leading the search. So if there's something in area interest that for them, they're going to mark it, and then they'll confer with us as far as on the investigation side, and then we kind of compare notes that way. Yeah. So it would be an area of interest that they're interested in.
There wasn't like a specific thing that pointed, oh, we want to mark this. It was just an area of interest.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
Is there any indication if Hannah and Roberto are going to be found together, or if they're expected to be apart, the body?
No indication right now. I wish I knew specifically, but no, we don't have any specific indication if we're going to find them together or not.
Is there any update on the motive, where the shooting occurred?
Yep, so those two things are our biggest things that we still are working to identify and solve. But the shooting area is still a work in progress. We're still trying to collect more statements from people. We're still interviewing people. In fact, we have people back at the station right now that are still doing interviews, still looking through digital evidence, forensic evidence, and then the motive as well. We're still working on that.
Is there anything that communities around here can do to help you guys?
No, they've been great. I mean, people still tips. I mean, even though that arrest has been made, individuals might have information that might seem irrelevant to them, but it's really relevant to the investigation.
I'll read you guys the post. I believe it was actually today that Hannah's mom made, and she's absolutely they're still asking for tips, you guys. So if you know anything, please call the investigators at the Lincoln Police Department, or you can go to that website that I put and you can put tips there anonymously, or call the Crime Stoppers number that I left too.
I encourage people to still call in with those tips. Yeah.
I guess, how confident do you think they are in this area, or is this just another, another tip that leads you to hopefully find them?
The confidence level is I won't be confident until we find them. So I can't really tell you confidence level wise, because we're relying on witness statements, we're relying on tips, we're relying on digital evidence, but because we have several areas of interest, I couldn't tell you for sure where or the level of confidence that they'll be here. But we'll continue to search until we find them.
I think that's about all of that one, you guys. And then, so yesterday, after, I don't know if court had anything to do with it or not, and I'll tell you guys more that happened at court. Let me go ahead and show you guys that because it was after this happened at court that they found the bodies. And so here it tells a little bit more about the affidavit, about what they learned at court. And it says, according to an arrest affidavit around 12:30 a.m. January 16th, Lincoln police were called to the area of 39 and Fremont Streets for a report of a silver 2009 Chevy Trailblazer that was on fire. The vehicle was determined to belong to Hannah. Okay, so then it says the affidavit said around 5:30 p.m. January 28th, Neville's roommate reported Neville, who was pregnant, was missing and was not seen since she left to pick up her husband, Roberto Tanner, in Lincoln on January 15th. So one day after she was reported missing, and the same day that the endangered alert went out and that he was reported missing, it said court records said LPD investigators contacted James Tanner's half-brother, I think they meant Roberto Tanner's half-brother, who stated he and his wife Titus went out to dinner with their children when his mother began forwarding messages she received from Tanner that were sexual in nature. The affidavit said James reported that when he tried to talk with Tanner about this, he referred to going to get a gun before he was picked up by an unknown individual. On January 31st, the affidavit said Neville's roommate reported Life 360 data showed Neville's handheld device was in a tree line just south of North 40th Street and branched Oak Ford Road for about 4 hours. The affidavit said it was then at a location on South Street before traveling to the Lincoln landfill at Highway 77 and Bluff Road. So maybe that's where they put her phone, in the landfill. Aaron says, Mo, this all came together pretty recent and rapidly. You've done a great job researching. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, it was just last week that they reported her missing, and when the Lincoln police took it over, it was last Friday. And they did all this work and were able to find them yesterday. And even though that we hate that they had to be found in that condition, I'm so glad that they were found. And so it's not closure for the family. I don't like to say that word closure, but it's resolution, and so then they can go forward with the next part of this, which is justice, And so then it says on February 1st, LPD said officers served a search warrant at a residence on Northwest 27th Street where a number of individuals were detained and interviewed by law enforcement. So that was that house that we saw, I think. And it says the affidavit said a witness reported that during the late hours of January 15th or early morning hours of January 16th, he observed James outside with a woman and a deceased woman. So probably that was Sadie and unfortunately Hannah. But it said the witness said the dead woman was then placed inside an SUV before leaving the scene. That same day, LPD said another witness was interviewed by law enforcement who stated James told him he shot Tanner on a dirt road and Neville while she was sitting in a vehicle shortly after leaving the residence on Northwest 27th Street. The witness said James told him he then buried the bodies and set Neville's Trailblazer on fire. And so then on the February 1st, they both were arrested. It says the affidavit said Titus told officers when James returned home on January 16th, the trunk deck of their white Chevy Equinox was missing and was told by James that she shouldn't ask any questions. LPD said Titus told officers that James told her not to look inside the vehicle and that she gave him cleaning supplies when he asked for them. So why didn't she ask where his brother was? Or Hannah. So then the next thing that I wanted to show you guys is when they ended up finding them. So like I said, I don't know if court had anything to do with them finding the bodies, but it was shortly after court that they did find them. Let me see here.
Back to that developing story out of Saunders County.
And guys, I think it's this video that there is a warning. Hey, Dutchie, how are you? Good to see you. There is a warning, you guys. If it wasn't bad enough, what we've heard so far, it wasn't that he just shot and buried them. They're coming to learn that he buried them and then I don't know how to say this. There's like no good way to say this, but he reburied them, and I believe it said that Sadie helped him rebury them. Absolutely awful, you guys. I'm having trouble even saying this, and I just can't imagine. I can't imagine how somebody could do the words that I can't even say. You guys feel me?
Hours after finding human remains, law enforcement still on scene tonight.
Police have been searching multiple areas for the bodies of Hannah Neville and her husband, Roberto Tanner. So this includes an area 3 miles north of Malmo.
That's where we find KETV News Watch 7's Izzy Fonfara-Drool. Izzy, what have you learned today?
Yeah, Julie and Bill, about 1,000 feet behind me here, you can see there's a police presence along with some lights. In that tree line off to your left there, when we arrived, officers were searching that for some evidence. While the police are still searching for the bodies, they have arrested 2 people in connection with their deaths. They both appeared in court today where we learned some new details about the alleged crime. Sterling James and Sadie Titus made their first appearance in Lancaster County Court Thursday, charged in the death of missing pregnant woman Hannah Neville and her husband, Roberto Tanner. Just hours later, Lincoln police announced that they had found human remains while searching for the missing couple. Officers say they are waiting for DNA and dental records before they identify those remains. Investigators say Neville disappeared after she drove from Stromsburg to Lincoln to pick up Tanner. According to the affidavit, Tanner was staying with James because he and Neville were fighting. During a briefing on Monday, Lincoln Police Chief Michon Morrow said that data showed Neville's device at multiple locations, including the Lincoln landfill.
So her roommate that reported her missing, you guys, oh, right here it says that her roommate also had paid to upgrade her Life 360 account. So I don't have Life 360. I believe that NorCal Jim, he said that you can use a lot of Life 360 for free. You don't have to pay for everything, but I guess if you pay for an account, you get to see more. And so she paid to upgrade that. And so that's how she was able to tell that her phone was at that one place for 4 hours and then was sent to the landfill. Oh, you guys, on a side note, on Miss Nancy's case, Miss Nancy Guthrie, they said that her, which this is what I heard one place, but you guys know how you hear something one place and something else another place. But I heard that she had Google Nest Cams, and I have a Ring camera, right? And I pay for the subscription because without the subscription, you can't talk to people outside or it doesn't record who's outside. But anyways, they said that she didn't have a subscription to I guess Google Nest Cams are the same, but they said she didn't have a subscription for that. So they could only see like alert. They couldn't tell what it was. And so I was just going to mention to you guys that I was talking to my mom about this, and we're just kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? We even have passwords to tell each other, like undercover, if one of us gets kidnapped, Oh my gosh, this is a crazy side note. But and so we were talking, we were like, we're so glad that we have the subscription, like Lord forbid something happens to one of us, You guys feel me? But that was just a side note. So if you can, I hope this never happens to any of us, but we all need those subscriptions.
Before it went offline. An affidavit states that Neville's roommate tracked her phone using the app Life 360. Morrow said they later found that phone in Neville's SUV while it was on fire.
Officers called Hannah that morning to advise her of the fire, but her phone number was no longer in service. We now believe that was because she was likely already deceased at the time. We believe he then buried their bodies and set fire to Hannah's vehicle. Titus is believed to have helped James after they were killed.
A witness told law enforcement she saw James outside with a woman and
Aaron says that they have a family password too. Well, I'm glad for that because I was feeling really crazy at the moment. So I'm glad it is a good thing to have. It really, really is. You guys, do you think, okay, after they tried to call her, after her car was set on fire and they tried to call her and her phone was out of service, do you reckon, they didn't say they did, but surely they would have tried to go by her last known address on her license or whatever, right? I mean, surely they did. But you would think that if they did, then they would have known that she was missing 2 weeks earlier. I'm still kind of stuck on that after they found her phone, people, okay, say that your car gets stolen or whatever. Like, your phone is, you're not always with your car, but you're always with your phone. You know, that should have set off even more alarms that her phone was in there. I'm stuck on that.
And saw another woman dead on the ground. According to court documents, it alleges that a second witness told investigators James admitted to shooting Neville and Tanner himself. The affidavit states that James later told that witness he buried the bodies, then dug them up and reburied them at a different location. The document states that Titus later reported James was upset about disturbing text messages he received regarding his half-brother. James is facing multiple charges, including first-degree murder and murder of an unborn child. He is being held with no bond. Titus is facing accessory and tampering with evidence charges. A judge set her bond at 10% of $1 million. They both will be back in court in March.
Like, she's probably, I don't know that her family is affluent or anything, but 10% of $1 million is $100,000, and that's not out of reach. I mean, that'd be out of reach for me, but that might not be out of reach for a lot of people, you know. So I think that she should have had no bond too, because it sounds like that that she had quite a bit to do with this, you know. Let me see if there's anything else that I wanted to show you guys. I think that that's, let me see here. So this is them in court. I guess that it was on Zoom. So young, you guys. 22 and 24, and then the victims were 26 and 27. And then these two had at least one child, that little girl that I showed you guys in their wedding photos. And I'm not sure how long Roberto and Hannah have been married, but these two have just been married since January 2nd of this year. So many lives ruined, you guys, and for what? Another senseless murder. I mean, most are senseless, but let's see here. Yeah, I think that that's about all that I told you guys already. I did want to read you guys Hannah's mom's post from today. Let me see here. My computer is not working as fast as my brain and my hands today. It needs to keep up. Get it together. Yep, today's the 6th, so this is from her mama today. Let's see here. Yesterday, we received a great deal of information. While identification cannot yet be confirmed without dental records or DNA, law enforcement has shared that they are confident Hannah's remains have been located outside of Malmo. We ask that everyone please continue sharing Hannah's story and calling any tips. We must continue to fight for justice for Hannah and her baby girl. Absolutely. Absolutely, you guys. She, like I told you guys, she was scheduled for a C-section on March the 10th. So not very, very far away at all. She was so close. So very close. I know we all want answers. Our family does too. I have asked investigators to take the time they need and gather every piece of evidence possible. I don't want a single stone left unturned, every T crossed and every I dotted with no loopholes. That is exactly what these agencies are doing. And it's good that she says this, you guys. Like, we all want justice as quickly as possible. And you know, as bad as we want it, the families want it a million times worse. And justice, what do they say? The wheels of justice turn slowly sometimes. And so she's saying that she knows that here, and she's telling them to take their time and not putting any rush on them, you know. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you for the love, support, prayers, kind words, and strength you continue to give our family. We're deeply grateful to Joint Communications Center, Columbus, Polk County, York County, and York Police Department, Columbus Police Department, Sanders County, Lincoln Police Department, Lancaster County, Seward County, Nebraska Game and Parks, and the Nebraska State Patrol for their tireless dedication and continued work. We also want to extend our heartfelt thanks to Emily for creating a beautiful picture of Hannah and Renly May. Oh, that's what she was going to name her, you guys. I just now saw that, Renly May, that we will always treasure into difficult time. Thank you to all our friends and family who have put in countless hours helping us in ways both seen and unseen. Your love and dedication mean more than you know. We are also deeply grateful to the news media for continuing to share Hannah's and Renly's story with care, accuracy, and compassion. Please continue to pray for Hannah, for my granddaughter, for our family, and for every person working to bring truth, answers, and justice. We ask for strength, clarity, and protection over all involved as the work continues. Isn't that just a beautiful picture, you guys? Absolutely. And we also need to pray for Roberto's family. I can't imagine what it's like to have both the victim and the perpetrator both in your family. You know, like one is worse enough, but then to have both in your family would just be absolutely awful. So I think that that's all that I have for this for you guys, but I do want to mention again that the little autistic fella that we spoke about at the beginning, Connor, I do have him on my community tab. If you could help share about him. He's been missing for 2 weeks now, and so we need to pray for him too. There is, you know that I don't like to leave you guys on a bad note, but so now I want to tell you guys about this. We spoke about an autistic fella, 19-year-old at the beginning that's missing. Well, on Sunday, February the 1st, there was a little missing 6-year-old in near Detroit, and I think there was an Amber Alert and everything, and it was so cold, you guys. You remember how cold it's been lately. In my holler, it's got down to the wind chills have been below 0, and I live in Kentucky, so Detroit is even further north, so it's been even colder. And he was missing for 8 hours out in this, you guys. But he was found about a block away in a neighbor's house, and he was in his, thank God that he chose this house to come to, because there were other kids there, and this guy was he's a pastor. And so he walked in after taking his family for dinner, and he finds this little 6-year-old in the bathtub, and he had made himself at home, you guys. He was playing with his kids' toys, and he had brought the toys to the bathtub with him, and bless his little heart, you guys. But I'm glad he chose that house to come to. He could have went into a predator's house, and those are way more common, so this guy's going to tell about that, and I thought we could watch that.
It allowed an entire community to breathe a sigh of relief.
Hey buddy, come here. We have positive ID.
Tonight we're getting our first look at the moment a 6-year-old boy missing for hours was found safe.
Police, the FBI, and dozens of neighbors searched through the night for a missing boy in Madison Heights, and tonight we're hearing from the family who helped bring him home.
Yeah, they were the ones who spotted him, and now they're sharing the heart-stopping moment they realized they found the child safe. Because he's now safe and sound, we're not showing his face nor using his name. Our Kyla Russell just sat down with the man who spotted him and joins us live from Madison Heights. Kyla?
Hey there. Yeah, I sat down with LeBron Brinkley, and he and his family live just behind where that 6-year-old lives. Yesterday, the Brinkley family was headed home after a full family Sunday. That's when they walked inside their house and upstairs toward the bathroom and made a shocking discovery. There was a kid inside of the bathtub. They shared the moment they captured on camera with me. Watch here.
Hey buddy, come here. We have positive ID.
We found him. Words the neighborhood had been holding its breath to hear.
He said when the man said when he got home that he seen that his sliding glass door was open and he thought, oh my goodness. And so then he followed the noise and seen that little fella in the bathtub. And he said he didn't want to disturb him or anything. So he walked outside and got the police. And you could hear the relief in that policeman's voice. He said positive confirmation, positive identity, or something like that. And they had been looking high and low for this little 6-year-old fella, and it just makes me want to cry, you guys, like thinking about all the ones that we see that aren't found like that, that unfortunately are found deceased or unfortunately are taken by predators. And for we have to take hold of the ones that happen like this, and remember that good things do happen sometimes, and we have to hold on to those.
Here.
He must have been in here for a while.
LeBron Brinkley shot that video inside his bathroom. An ordinary Sunday, turning into an unforgettable surprise. Now, let's rewind, and I'll walk you through it.
We left the house at about 6:15 a.m.
He's a worship pastor at a nearby church. After service, they stopped home for a bit, then headed back out at 2:52 in the afternoon to spend time with family. Their home sits just behind the home where the 6-year-old lives. About a half an hour later, foster parents reported the child missing, and a massive search surged into motion, even involving the FBI.
At about 13 DeQuinder area, we started getting Amber Alerts, and we're like, wow, like that's where we live.
When they pulled in, the alerts weren't just buzzing, they were hitting close to home. He steps inside and realizes their sliding glass door had been accidentally left unlocked.
I have this closed, but when I walked in from behind, it was like that. I don't leave this open.
Then another clue cut through the quiet. He could hear water running.
Walked up, I heard the ruckus, and I turned, and he was literally sitting in the bathtub, and I'm like, okay, and then I just ran back out.
Flagged down officers outside the house.
All he was missing was a sandwich or some cookies or something. You guys reckon he went to the kitchen too? Bless his little heart. That was all he was missing, wasn't it?
House. Inside, the bathroom was flooded. The 6-year-old surrounded by toys from LeBron's son's bedroom. And their family dog, Nala, was right there too. Calm, close, and keeping him company.
We gave them towels to wrap him up in. They actually laid him right here on this very couch.
Now, I did speak to the foster parents of the 6-year-old. They tell me they're just grateful and thrilled that he is okay. And of course, we are grateful too. Live here in Madison Heights, I'm Kyla Russell, Local 4.
I'm so glad he was found too, you guys. I think I forgot to share the link to this video, but I'll share that right quick with you guys too. Thank you guys all so very much for coming to hang out with me today and listening about Hannah and her baby, which we now know was going to be named Renly May, and about Roberto, and unfortunately about Sterling James and his wife Sadie Titus. We unfortunately had to hear about them too, but thank you all so very much for coming today. And if there's anything that you guys think that we can help spread awareness about on my channel, I don't care a bit. Please email me or leave a comment under this video or anything. And thank you so very much, Fan. I really, really appreciate that. I know, right, Neat? What a good puppy. It could have been a bad puppy he ran into protecting his house too, a guard dog or anything. Oh my goodness. He could have ran into so much trouble, so much trouble. God had his hand on that little one. He absolutely did. Okay, I love you guys. I'm going to play us out, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
They tell me I'm small, but I've learned small faith moves mountains. This platform might look quiet right now, but purpose doesn't need permission. Sometimes the smallest voices are trusted with the biggest stories. I don't got it all, that's why I pray. I lift the names when I can't find words to say. Small but mighty, walking by faith. If I can't change it all, I still believe change can start today. I don't got it all, that's why I pray. For the lost, the missing, led astray. This platform's small, but God's not contained. And we never ever know what love can do once it's shared. I'm not rich in numbers, not loud on the screen, but every case I cover got weight in between. Faces on flyers, names people forget. I speak them out loud so they're never silenced. Yet I don't chase clout, I chase truth. Every live stream feels like a prayer in the booth. For the mom still waiting, the dad still searching, for the families hurting while the world keeps turning. They say, what can one voice read do? But I've seen hope rise when the community moves. So I show up steady, even when it's heavy, trusting God with the parts I can't carry. Got it all, that's why I pray. I lift the names when I can't find words to say. Small but mighty, walking by faith. If I can't change it all, I still believe change can start today. I don't got it all, that's why I pray. For the lost, the missing, led astray. This platform's small, but God's not contained. And we never know what love can do once it's shared. Every time I go live, I ask one thing. Send prayers up higher than algorithms, because awareness is good, but faith goes further, and prayer reaches places we never could. I don't promise answers, I promise care. A space where compassion still lives right here. Victim-focused, truth-driven, heart-led, always standing in the gap on the hardest days. If you're watching this tide, scared or alone, I hope you feel seen through the screen in your home, because God hears whispers, not just the loud, and He's working right now, even in the crowd. So we pray for the missing. Every single time we pray for the answers in God's perfect time. Small seeds planted, faith multiplied. Miracles don't need a spotlight. I don't got it all, that's why I pray. Still believing God's moving, even today. Small but mighty, called by name. And I trust what He's doing even when I can't see the way. Say a prayer for the missing. Say a prayer for their families. And before you go, say your prayers. Take your vitamins. And remember, even something small can do really big things.